Welcome, Jamie.
Hey, what's up, John? Thanks very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. I just mentioned that you're actually from New Zealand. You're a Kiwi yourself.
Yeah. I'm from a tiny little dot on the map. It was 280 people when I lived there, called Karatani, which is just near Dunedin, and it was a sad farewell when I left. Could drop the numbers down to 279. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it is about 280 people live there, so it's a very small place. And moved to Melbourne. I was just actually reminiscing on this recently. It was 14 years ago now, so I've been based in Melbourne ever since, and try to get back a couple of times a year if I can, which is cool. So, but yeah, I miss home.
So was the move to Australia for your business, or?
No, look, there was a kind of a funny situation. I was with my former partner, and at the time, her parents were going through, I guess, not the most enjoyable divorce. She was still the youngest child living at home, in her early 20s, and I just kind of said, quite flippantly, do you want to do something crazy? And she said, yeah. And I said, great, because I kind of just went and bought 2 return tickets to Australia. Do you want to come over and see if it works out? I guess to put that into perspective, we'd been dating for maybe, I know for quite a few years, but we'd been dating for maybe 5 weeks at the time. So yeah, it lasted for a while. We were together for about 4 years, and then life got in the way, all that sort of stuff, and we moved on from each other. But I decided to remain. I do love it over here, and obviously the economy is really strong and good things. But as I was saying just before we got started there, I really do miss home. New Zealand will always be my home, so I'm just trying to convince my wife to move over at the moment. Actually, she's from Indonesia, so I don't know if she likes the cold climate quite as much as I do, though.
Yeah, we're sitting on 14 at the moment, but we've been having 0 starts to the morning, so it
Beautiful.
It knocks the wind out of your sails a little bit.
Yeah. Sounds like heaven to me. I love it.
So you're an acclaimed affiliate marketer. So what took you down that route?
Yeah, look, good question. So, how much of a backstory do you want into? I've got a big one. If you care to listen, I'll try and give you the abbreviated version. But basically, to I guess paint a picture of why I got into this, it's probably a little bit important to kind of at least get a feel for the background. So, long story short is I've sort of been around the digital marketing game dating back to 1997, and basically the short version of the story is my mother set up an e-commerce site in small town New Zealand in 1997, before Google, before Amazon, all that sort of stuff. And at the time, it was so archaic that she had to manually receive a fax with the orders. She'd have to drive physically to the bank, and I don't know if you recall this, John, but the banks used to shut at, I think it was like 4 or 4:30 or something like that. It was really early.
Yep.
Back in the day, which I think was a bit of a crossover from when they're all government owned or something, I guess. But she had to drive down there, basically put all the orders across, and they would mark them all off and submit the orders, etc., etc. Till eventually she had to keep arriving earlier and earlier because she had more and more orders, which was obviously a good problem to have. They gave her a phone line, and then after a couple of years, things became somewhat automated. You could put your card in a form online and all that sort of stuff, which is great. It completely changed the game. Google came along. Very, very easy to rank back in the day. I wish it was like that now. My goodness. But she ended up ranking for some very competitive keywords, and the business just literally exploded. She got the entire thing automated, and basically the money would come in, the orders would be automatically shipped out. When supplies got low, manufacturer would basically send the product to get manufactured, and she'd just deal with customer handling, all that sort of stuff, finding orders, blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. So her work day was sort of like, I guess on a conservative day, she could take sometimes 3 to 4 days off without really doing anything at all, and still get what I guess a passive income. And then on a busy day, she might work for 4 hours type thing. But that was sort of few and far between. So I saw that growing up, and I looked at that lifestyle, and I remember at the time I've had a myriad of jobs and a myriad of careers over my lifetime, and one of which was working in a gold mine. I was driving dump trucks. I was working 12 hours a day, plus I was commuting from Dunedin, and it was 86 k's away. And at that time, I was up a very windy road, so 86 k's in Australia distance isn't really that far, but when
No.
it's up a road like that, it used to take about an hour and a half to get to work, hour to an hour and a half. So conservatively, the days were 14 hours long, and I was exhausted, absolute zombie for the whole time I was there, really. So when I started reviewing my life choices, and I looked at my mother, who hadn't worked for a good couple of years other than her business at that stage, I thought there's something missing in this picture. That's what I want. I want the freedom and the choices, and to be able to travel when I want and where I want, and all that sort of stuff. And so then fast forward, I traded the financial markets, did all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. And fast forward to 2011, I thought, no, I'm going to make a start, get into this, start setting up my own websites, learning all that sort of stuff. And so I did, because of my background in finance at that time, I worked for one of the largest foreign exchange brokers for about 5 years. And because of my I guess, education and history in financial markets and financial markets trading, I thought, cool, I'll start setting up websites in relation to the financial markets and investing, all that sort of stuff. So I did that, and they didn't really go anywhere. I've still got them, actually, strangely enough. They don't really do anything. They make a couple of cents every month or two, I guess, if I'm lucky. And then life got in the way, and then I started other projects, and I got into all sorts of other stuff in between. And sorry, I know this is a very long-winded story. I apologize, but
No
and
problem.
then I went through some pretty bad financial hardships, and around 2015, I actually went bankrupt. And it was after that point that I used the education and skills and knowledge that I built up and the previous experience running ads to start looking at e-commerce and I guess replicating what I had seen growing up. But it was actually from that point I sold one of my e-commerce sites, and I, at the time, was working for an education company. I'd done yet another career change, and in this education company, they were paying around $160 per one single lead that came in. And I thought, hang on, there's something massively wrong with this picture. I knew, because of my experience with running Facebook ads, that I could get them for really cheap. I was confident at that time, and I thought there's something wrong. Someone's making a lot of cash, and they're selling them for $160. So I left the workforce in 2017. I started my own digital agency running Facebook ads for small business. And yeah, then from there, basically, I've still got clients. I do all that sort of stuff now. I ended up working on behalf of other agencies as well, specifically. But then it still left a bit of a hole, because I thought not everyone needs Facebook ads. Not everyone has a business that Facebook ads are going to be appropriate for. How can I guess, get the word out there and continue to make some sort of impact? And that's when I returned again to affiliate marketing and basically promoting other products and I guess helping other people in that way as well. So that's, sorry, I know I said I'd keep it short, but that's kind of the response there. That's how I got into it, basically. So a little bit of back history for you.
No, that's awesome, and I think you covered a lot of things there that I know so many people are in a similar situation where they might see someone, and you was very lucky having your mother as a mentor there, but
Yeah.
see someone with the kind of lifestyle that you want, and follow that through and see, and you're lucky that you've got someone to mentor that on, because this is what so many people, they see what other people are doing and they would like to have a lifestyle like that, but often those people aren't approachable, and so they go looking, and affiliate marketing, I guess, is one of the things they first come to. And you'll know,
Yeah.
by searching affiliate marketing on the internet, you're kind of lost for choice.
Yeah, which is, and not to digress off topic for a moment, but it's a kind of an important thing for anyone that does watch this, is that exact thing right there, which leads to shiny object syndrome, because
Yep.
when you're starting out, you just don't know who to follow. You don't know who's offering actual advice, who's just trying to sell you something, and even if they are trying to sell you something, is it actually worthwhile? And yeah, it's I know as a newbie, even as an experienced marketer, I still suffer from that, to this day. So yeah, it's a tough one when you are getting going, and to know, I guess, what to believe. Really, it's a bit of a tricky one.
Sure, I quite agree, and in fact, I did a little bit of a video yesterday on that subject, following on from actually one of yours, which I saw you
Okay.
doing in the closed group. But and I guess that is the thing, and I just commented that find something you have a passion for and work at it. Take immediate action and work hard at it until you get some results, because it doesn't take much. If you get $10 in a sale, you know it works, and all you got to do then is just repeating and repeating that thing, and you'll learn along the way. But so many people see these shiny objects and these people claiming of making such a great amount of money in such a short time, and they drop what they're doing, go on to something else. And I don't think they just realize the amount of not only the time they waste, but the money and the value they waste by keep jumping and jumping and jumping, So you've got to stick to one thing for a while until you get some results. And even when you're talking about advertising or promoting or whatever, do one thing. Everyone's hopping onto Facebook and they're hopping onto Instagram and they're hopping onto each. But if you can kind of master one at a time and then, move on. But
absolutely, yeah, hit the nail on the head, and that's why I thought it was a good segue actually into that topic, because I thought, hang on, that's it's something that's really relevant for people getting into marketing in general. And the thing is, ironically, I've been doing this for what did I say, 2011. So and I was starting to look into it in 2010. So I didn't actually take action until 2011, and I've tried legitimately everything out there. There's very few things I haven't at least attempted to give it a shot. And I'm completely fallible, because I some things I'd go, that's too hard, or maybe it even worked, but I just didn't persevere enough to see it to full fruition, because I read another sales page instead. Got suckered into that. So but I often wonder, had I just stuck with going back to the original thing I said, if I just stuck with setting up blogs for finance related topics, like how different my life might look now. So who knows? I guess at the same time, the other thing though is I think is quite relevant is, as a beginner, you don't really know what you're interested in. You don't know, are you good at writing? Are you good at speaking? So podcasting or video. To start with, probably most people aren't good at any of that, but what are you passionate about? And I think sometimes, whilst it's so important to stick with one thing, I think when you're brand new, it is actually worth trying a few different things just to see which one resonates with you as well. So, which is kind of a contradiction to what I just said before, but anyway.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I quite agree. I go back to my comment of sticking to one until it works, but at the end of the day, I think the definition of stupidity is doing exactly the same thing over and over again and not getting any results at all. So if you're not getting results,
But that's the interesting thing though, and one of the things that I've learned, because I'm now, I guess, officially a quote unquote solopreneur. I work from home, and that was one of the other issues that you probably end up finding is, and why I think the beginner cycle just keeps recurring, is because there's no a lot of the time there's no feedback loop, and so I guess for myself, I have a YouTube channel, I've got a Facebook group, I've got a Facebook page, I go live in a bunch of different places every single day. I've got a podcast I just started doing just because I enjoy talking to myself, and I've got a blog as well. So, but I don't really write at the moment, although that is my intention eventually. But, having said that, it's one of those things where a lot of the time I'll do a review video of a product coming out, and I think, cool, I've ticked all the boxes. I've kind of sold the product, but not really. I've given it an honest review. I've got some great bonuses lined up, and then nothing happens. I don't get a single sale. In fact, there was one I did recently. I got one click to the sales page. So someone had seen my bonus page, and only one person actually saw my bonuses and liked it enough to click through to the sales page. And it's really disheartening. Like when you don't have that feedback mechanism, because there's no instant gratification of, okay, cool, I'll just do this and this and this, and then that will work. So, in this case, I'm sort of up in the air going, what am I doing wrong? But then strangely enough, what I'm finding now is the more I do it, the more kind of random sales I'll start picking up. Not necessarily right now, but a month, 2, 3, 5 months down the track, and I start getting random sales come through, and I think, I don't even know what that was from. Oh, that's right, it's that video that I didn't think worked. Yeah, which is, I guess, one of the risks of not the risk, but one of the things that I think, I know I still struggle with it, but I think other people probably would struggle with as well, which then keeps them in that beginner's cycle over and over, because there's no feedback to say, yes, you're doing the right thing. You're on the right path. This is going to work if you keep doing it. So anyway, just sorry, I'm digressing again, but there you go.
No, you've come up with some really interesting points, and I think of huge value to beginner marketers. Is there anything else that you'd like to add that, for the newbie, for the person that's looking and just starting, what can help them on their track?
Always trust a man who has a surname named after a country.
I like that. I like that.
No, look, the thing is, one of the things I keep saying is that for me, like, I think newbies, they think, well, it's all great for you guys. You've got results, and you got this and got that. I personally, I don't have that, necessarily, but I think when you look at the screenshots that are out there, and there's some beautiful screenshots with amazing amounts of cash flow on them, and you think, wow, that's incredible. But I think what's more relatable to people is the likes of you and I, which are we're normal humans. We are just trying to make something work. We're not flashing screenshots of stuff. Maybe we will once we get, I will once I get screenshots worth showing, of course. But I think that makes people more relatable. And the reason why I mention that is because I think as a newbie, people get started and then they think, well, I've got nothing to add. I don't have any content. I don't know anything. I just learned what affiliate marketing is. And so I suggest just document everything you're doing. And this is something I'm sort of regurgitating, something I heard today, actually, from another prominent marketer as well. Is just to document everything you're doing. And it sounds mundane and silly, and you might not kind of see reason why at the moment, but it's because it's relatable. It's because someone who is earning $50, $100 a day, or $5,000 per month through affiliate marketing, whatever the case may be, it's so much more relatable than someone who's earning 100K, because you think, well, that's a massive gap from where I am now to that. Whereas, to get into your first 1,000 or first $100 day, or whatever the case may be, it's a lot more relatable. So that would be my advice to newbies: is just don't look at what they've got, just look at what you can offer. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. And people forget that, if they've been doing this for 2 months, they've got 2 months of education and value that someone who started yesterday hasn't got.
Yeah.
And they don't appreciate how valuable that is. So share that. It may seem little to you, but it means massive to someone else who hasn't even got that far. So
exactly,
how much information you have.
I'll give you a little, I guess on that note, I guess a little example that popped up for me recently, which was, because I run Facebook ads for a living. As you can imagine, I'm all over Facebook all the time, and Instagram for that matter. But and it comes down to strategy and blah blah blah, targeting, etc. So because I used to experience this when I was in the financial markets, because my job was basically client education. It was a sales role, but I was educating the clients on financial markets, how to analyze the markets, how to use software, how to charting, technical analysis, fundamental, all that sort of stuff. And so sometimes I would get to this point where I and not to sound conceited at all, but you're doing it for a while, so your knowledge level is kind of, it's getting up there a little bit, but you kind of forget that people are just starting. And so a lot of the time, I did some training on Facebook ads recently, and I was just, without thinking, I was just, you click here, you do that, you go. And then some of the feedback I got was, you're going really fast. Like, I can't actually keep up with what you're doing. And I think you skipped over a few steps. I was like, oh, okay. But again, that comes back to exactly what you just mentioned. Someone that's only just starting out, you're going to know what didn't make sense when you started out. So therefore, document that. Just, here's, this is what affiliate marketing means. Here is an affiliate network. That's what that means. Like things like that. It sounds silly, but it's it's how you're going to produce content and get your name out there. And the more you learn about this stuff, the more you can, I guess, pour that content out to people as well.
Yep, yep. Well, look, your advice and your information has just been invaluable, and I thank you so much. But before I let you go and get back to your own world and your own life, if there was one thing that you could look back on, if you met yourself up, when you just started this journey, if there's one bit of advice you could give yourself, what would that be?
One bit of advice. Understand. Actually, I've got a lot of advice for me. Stick to one thing. So find out what you're interested in to start with, and find out not even what you're interested in, but what you feel you could continually produce content on. So, if you enjoy writing, can you foresee yourself writing one article per week, which would, for a year, you're going to have 52 pieces of content, articles, which you then can repurpose in PDFs and chuck them into slides and infographics, etc. Or are you more comfortable on camera? Little caveat in this point, no one is to start with, by the way. It's something that you build.
No.
I still find it really awkward now, but you get better at it. Or do you prefer just like podcasting, which is obviously another medium? So pick one of those things and just stick with it. Understand that this is a business. It's not a hobby. Business involves numbers and financials and revenue, and understand that no one starts a business and goes straight to Mark Zuckerberg levels, unless you're Mark Zuckerberg. But so therefore, if you think of it in that way, then for me, this is how I think anyway, and this is what I would advise other people. But it's taken me a lot of years to learn this stuff. So if you think of it as a business and you think of it on the long term, imagine that you spend 3 years doing affiliate marketing and nothing much happens. Like you get a little bit of traction, but nothing much happens. But then 3 years, and within that 6-month period, that one piece of content goes viral. That one thing you do ends up impacting someone else's life in a positive way, and you can help someone forward. Then imagine giving up 3.5 years of your life to make an impact, to actually make it to success. Most people can't think in that sort of longevity. We have this whole instant gratification thing. So that would be my advice. Just remember, it's a business. It's long term. You got to keep at it. You got to be consistent with it, and it's not a struggle for me. I enjoy this. I actually enjoy the ups and the downs and the trying to work all that stuff out. So that I love this process. I don't really mind the fact that sometimes it sucks. It's all part of it, but I enjoy it. That would be my advice anyway.
It's all part of the journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
that's been absolutely stunning and amazing, and I thank you so much for taking your time out.
You're welcome.
I would love to chat to you again and do another live, perhaps a few months down the track, and we can compare
absolutely.
notes.
Absolutely, right. John. Look, it's been a pleasure, and
thank you so much.
Thanks very much for your time, guys. Have a good one.